this idea that if the railroad workers were on strike and then also the UPS and the FedEx workers simultaneously went on strike and they did it over the holidays, that would be amazing. Yeah. It would suck. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it would be inconvenient. And it would suck. And all of us would have some sort of way we would feel that. But man, that would be awesome. Like, that would be like the coolest thing ever. So, that would shut everything down.
Yeah, it's a matter of knowing what people really don't want to be taken away. Like holiday season packages, something people really don't want to lose.
Yeah, and that's when they need to lose them. That's the whole point. Like, the idea of strikers wanting permission to strike is crazy to me. Like, how did we get to the point where our workers have to basically ask for permission to strike? Isn't the point of the strike is that we're not going to take your crap anymore, but yet we have to ask for permission to strike? Does anybody find that ironic?
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, I remember, in school there was once a school sanctioned walkout about the Iraq War. So everyone got out. Everyone stood up in our classroom and left, and it was sanctioned by the school. And at that point, it's like, why are we doing this? It's not an act of resistance any longer.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's important to resist. It's important to know where the weak points are in the billionaire power structure, and find these weak points and go after them.
What have you guys noticed regarding there's just this consensus of, I don't want to be inconvenienced. So even though I sympathize with your labor struggle, if you get in my way, I'm going to always side with, management, with the shareholders. Why do you think that is? And what has your experiences been like on the ground, speaking with either workers or, just regular people who, as I just alluded to, may be sympathetic to the cause, but they're not really willing to sacrifice anything in order to see to it that it is actually successful in any way?
Yeah. I mean, from the consumer perspective, I think it's going back to the beef example or any of these kind of like monopolies, like we're going to tell a story through this farmer or this worker, but ultimately his message is like, it's also bad for you, the person sitting at home. Yeah. Like, the beef it's more expensive for you as well. And I think that part of it is like, showing people that we're not trying to attack. We do so. I think we've all joked at More Perfect Union, like, over the course of working here, we've had to eliminate many of the brands that we all love out of our personal consumption because we've realized that they all kind of suck. Treat their workers poorly, and one of our coworkers, Meg, actually has made some TikToks, like how to make homemade versions of, your favorite brands where the workers are on strike, Cheez-Its, things like that. But I think it's not like we're trying to, attack you, the consumer, or guilt people. I think sometimes people feel like they're being attacked, maybe, or they're being guilted into like, well, I'm not part of this. Like, it's not my fault that this is happening. But I think, like, again, going back to the narrative thing, it's like trying to place people. You want to make people feel like they are part of the story when they're watching it, so that they can't also compartmentalize it and be like, it's happening to poor people or these other people. It's not me. When you talk about broadband too, like we're thinking of broadband, like there are lots of issues with broadband, with redlining, and impoverished communities having to pay more for much worse internet. But it's also a story about kind of like everyone experiencing these giant monopolies, price gouging universally across the board. So I think it's impossible to highlight the inequality, but also then try to bring, like, I don't know, sometimes I guess you can also play to people's self-centered motivations and make them realize, like, no, this is also bad for you. You should care and you should not worry about like, oh, I can't be inconvenienced or whatever. Like, if workers, stand up and fight and get better pay and get better benefits, like, it's better for all of society.
Yeah, and people need to remember that if it is inconvenient to, say boycott Amazon, that's because of conditions Amazon has created. If I need a specific kind of light bulb or something like that, even 10 years ago, not even that long ago, I could probably walk someplace from my apartment to go get that specific light bulb. But Amazon's created conditions where if I need that specific light bulb, I probably either have to get in a car and drive somewhere or go somewhere completely inconvenient or go to Amazon. And that's not my fault. That's Amazon's fault. And it's important to remember that these conditions only exist because of the people we're talking about. So when people are worried about feeling inconvenienced, it's important to remind them, like, you're not weak if you don't boycott Amazon. You're not necessarily any kind of traitor. You're just a part of the system that Amazon created, unfortunately.
Yeah, and reminding people they should have solidarity with, working class people, workers, because it's kind of like how the environmental movement evolved, where like in the 70s or 80s, there was that campaign with the Native American, the tier, and then it was eventually wasn't like sponsored by the plastics industry or something. Like it was just like basically a propaganda movement from the plastic industry to try to.
Something happened.
No, that's right.
You're back.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
At least it wasn't us.
At least it wasn't us. Yeah.
So, yeah, like this narrative.
And then you lost it again. It doesn't want us to hear that.
Yeah, there's
Remove censored, man.
down.
I feel like this is kind of like a little scary.
Yeah, are those headphones plastic? I think they're.
Yeah, they might be. Yeah,
getting in there.
Exactly. Well, no, basically, yeah. What I'm saying is like the individual choice kind of narrative that was pushed was a cop out to kind of shift away that anger and that direction from the systemic forces and the corporate, actors that were just getting away with murder. So I think, like, again, just reminding people, like, you're not being inconvenienced. You need to have solidarity with workers and because ultimately our real enemies, our villains, are the billionaires and the corporate, the greedy corporate.
If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.